What's up, everybody? Welcome on back to Bros and Badges, and today we are talking about controversy, because controversy sells. And is it really a Pokemon game if it's not a controversial release? Is it controversial? We are talking, of course, about Pokemon Champions. The game has been out for a little while now, and of course, there's a lot of people that are angry about certain things. People are up in arms. Some people love the game. We're going to dive right into that. What is this controversy? What are people so angry about? Well, one of them is that there is around 180 Pokemon available in the game. One of them is that there's not a lot of the returning items that people are used to in the VGC. Joe, are there any other things people are mad about? I know those are like two of the big topics.
Yeah, no, I mean, weirdly enough, I've seen a few. Another one that I've seen lesser so, but definitely have a voice out there is the game does seem to be a little bit buggy. Luckily, in my playtime, I have not seen much of this firsthand, thankfully. But there is footage out there if you want to go see it of items and abilities proccing when they're not supposed to, certain moves working when they shouldn't. So I think overall, even though that is a minor complaint, I think it does really add to the whole controversial feeling. And it definitely sounds loud from the complainers, you know?
Totally. Yeah, I've noticed there are some glitches, obviously, and even the company behind the game has acknowledged that there are glitches that they're working on. So I think, like you said, this is all adding to the kind of like big noise around the game. Like, I think a lot of people are saying the game is undercooked. Like, it's obvious it should have taken longer for them to release it. They should have spent more time on it. The graphics are not quite up to par, especially on the Switch 2. Yeah, there's a lot of controversy surrounding the game. But Joe, what are our honest thoughts? For me, I personally think that a lot of this is kind of just comes from unfair expectations. Oh yeah, because one of the big ones was also that the game does not feature 6v6 Pokemon battles, and there are so many people angry about that. Like, they're acting like like we've just destroyed Pokemon. Like the game's never going to be the same because they didn't allow for 6v6. And I think a lot of people don't understand that is like how VGC has worked forever. So like that's kind of an unfair expectation. You choose 6 Pokemon, you go into a battle, and then in that battle you choose the 4 to use. That's how the scene works. It's like that's actually part of the strategy is having 6 Pokemon, and then once you're up against your opponent. Yeah, I was actually
going to say that.
Yeah, once you're up against your opponent, that's part of the strategy. I think that's like
the major part of it is like going with a full team and not knowing exactly how that team is going to operate. And I think having the fact that you can only use 4 at a time makes your kind of engine change, right? Like you want to have these multiple battle plans, and it's part of the chess, right? It's part of the competitive nature of Pokemon. It's what makes it so cool. So I think the people that are complaining about the not bringing a full team of sits and being able to use all of them, I think they're just people that aren't used to VGC, which is fair. But yeah, no, I think it's a very unfair thing.
That one's been
do.
the funniest for me, because I'm just kind of like, I've seen, and it's not just like people in general, it's like YouTube content creators too that are like, this is ridiculous, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you don't know Pokemon, obviously. Like, that's just not a thing. Now that's not to say I do want that to be an option. Absolutely, like they should have 6v6 battles just as an option, but like the fact that it wasn't available to roll out is not surprising to me. Like, that's just not what the core of the scene is around, you know. Same with even single battles. Like, you know, you pick 6, you choose 3 in the battle. Like, I've been playing a lot of champions. We both have. And yeah, sometimes I'll see someone like, oh, I see that they've got like a couple fairy people on their team, and I'm like, okay, cool, that means I'm going to lean into my steel team. But then, like, you know, I'm going to choose 2 people that are more steel oriented, and then you go into the battle and they don't even use those fairy Pokemon. That's the chess of it. Like you said, that's just what makes it kind of interesting. I think the graphics is definitely fair. I'm going to chalk that up to, like, even when I first started playing, I noticed like some kind of like blurry outlines, and I'm playing on the Switch 2, but I noticed some like blurry outlines around the Pokemon. It definitely isn't the cleanest looking thing. I will say the cutscenes look really nice, and the actual like battle animations of the Pokemon are really nice. It does have a cool stadium vibe. Yeah, I think the graphics could have been better, especially for the Switch 2, but let's be real, there's a reason why they're not. This is also going to be on phones, on mobile. I think there's only really so far they could push it and still make it work on a phone. But I will chalk that up to, yeah, there you go. I think graphically it could definitely look a little better, but it doesn't look bad. Like, it's not like I'm looking at it like, oh, this is atrocious. It's maybe just like not quite there, but it literally looks almost like kind of similar to like Legend ZA. Like you know, and for a game that's also going to be on mobile, that's not that bad. It's a little blurrier.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's definitely some glitchy stuff here and there. Chalk that up to, yeah, I'll give you that one. Take the L on that. It's not like I made the game. I don't care. You know, I think we're used to the Pokemon
when it's not pretty.
Yeah, I think we're used to the Pokemon company and, you know, their partners in general not always delivering on the graphics. But yeah, what do you think otherwise? Like, do you think some of this controversy holds up, or is it kind of just maybe people were expecting something a little different? I mean, especially like in regards to the items. What do you think about the items and like, you know, some of those returning and like some of the natures not returning, natures and abilities not being there at the launch?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this a bit off of camera, and I think a lot of people have a similar, at least the people that are more positive on it, I think have a similar outlook to it. I think the fact that they didn't drop all the Pokemon, they didn't drop all the items, while it does, you know, it kind of sucks a little bit for people who are longtime competitive players and had teams that they kind of were prepping to get ready to, you know, hit champions with. I think it's just easier across the board. I think having a thinner selection both through Pokemon and items, I think it just makes it easier to chomp on. You're not looking at 1,000+ Pokemon and hundreds of items and hundreds of gimmicks that people have been kind of building for years of competitive play. Now it's kind of like this is season 1, right? Season 1 of a brand new game. Everyone's starting with kind of this same group of Pokemon, same group of items. And what's really funny is we're kind of already seeing the benefit. We're seeing a bunch of people that don't necessarily play competitive Pokemon learning what abilities and what items and what Pokemon do certain things. They're getting a lot more familiar with certain Pokemons thanks to certain metas that are being built just in Champions alone. And I think it'll just make it easier that over time, once more stuff comes to the game, it'll kind of act more of like a you know, like new seasons for other games, like say something like an Overwatch where like we get new heroes and the meta kind of changes. Now we're kind of in that situation of like, oh, hey, season 2, they're going to drop like this group of Pokemon. How do they get introduced to the meta with what items, and how does that change up, right? And so I think in that sense, there is a real positive here. Everyone's starting from the same footing. It makes it a lot more interesting. And especially for people who play competitively, I think they should look at this and be a little bit more like, hey, I'm now working within like restrictions that I didn't think I was going to have. How can I make something cool from it? So I do think there's that fun part of it. Do I understand where the complaints are coming from? Yes, of course. And there's definitely some weird decisions of having certain items that I was positive would be in it and they just aren't. And then you also have items like the light orb, which nobody wants in this game. It makes no sense that it's there, but it's there. So
bring on
I
the
do
light,
question
baby.
a little bit how they did it. Bring on the light. I question a little bit the items they decided to roll out, but overall, I don't think it knocks it down as many pegs as people try to make it seem like it does. And I did quickly want to circle back to the graphics thing, just because I had one thing in specific, and it's really funny because it really hit me when I was watching your video, Zach, on our channel. Which, if you haven't watched yet, everybody who's watching this, go watch it. He played the first 30 minutes, and you got to see his unvetted reaction to everything. I think the models are kind of ugly. I think the character models, like artistically, not even so much graphically. You know, Pokemon, I literally draw. I'm an artist. Pokemon has been my biggest inspiration since I was a child. I'm not feeling the trainer designs. I don't know if it's something like, and I think you even made a comment about it in the video about the kind of main receptionist girl.
The main receptionist. Like, it's the I don't even want to call that a design. Like what are we looking at?
Yeah.
Like her, I don't know. I'm so sorry, but the distance of her eyes, like how far apart they are, looks so unhuman.
That's literally it.
You know, it looks like nightmare fuel, and it's like I don't want to be mean. She seems like a nice girl. She seems like a real nice girl.
Very nice, but very sweet woman.
But I made a comment in my video. I ended up just calling her like AI girl because she literally looks like a weird AI like design or something. Like it looks like something AI
genuinely
you know, spat out. Yeah, that's disturbing. I think the other designs are like fine, like the the person who owns like the arena and then the reigning champion or whatever, like those are pretty cool. Yeah, but I agree, some of the design choices and even some of the Pokemon models are like not the best. Speaking of which, Joe is an incredible designer, great artist. So, and we do have a poll up right now for which evolution you guys would like to see in Winds and Waves. So if you haven't yet checked out the poll, go for it. You guys, I already know some of you hate the names we chose. We actually chose them based on popular names online, by the way. We didn't just come up with all of them. They existed. The only one we came up with on our own was Sickion. Anyway, but yeah, please vote on that poll if you haven't yet. Guys, this is a new format we're rolling out. This is a short form podcast. We're going to do this daily. We have been doing long form. If you guys like the long form better, please let us know in the comments, but we're at least going to try this the next week or two, and hopefully you guys enjoy. It gives us a bit more daily content, and we can also be a little bit more on top of like recurring and like new topics based on how we're going to do this. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for checking it out. We are going to talk a little bit more about the learning curve and how steep that is, how hard the game is, and how in some ways, because they have less items and less things going on, that might actually be better for you, especially if you're coming to Pokemon Champions for the first time. We're going to talk about that a little bit in our next video, so stay tuned for that tomorrow. All right, with that said though, Bros and Badges out.